Hey, welcome back. I wanted to do a little video today and just give you my thoughts on this trigger. A couple months ago I picked up a M Carbo flat shoe trigger for this P365X macro and got busy with life and things and finally installed it last week. I ran a set of needle nose pliers underneath my thumbnail trying to get this fucker on. So I give it about a 6 on the pain in the ass scale. M Carbo, they have a video on their website that you can check out. It gives you play-by-play instructions on how to install this. It does an okay job. I'm going to put the link to that in the description below. Also in that video, it tells you about everything this trigger does, the angle of it. The previous the stock trigger kind of comes out like this at an angle. There's not a whole lot of room for your finger to get in there for you to kind of wrap around the trigger until you start pulling it, which is kind of odd. This has knocked that angle back. I think it was like 35 or 38 degrees from the stock trigger. Anyway, you can check that out. It's in the link below. Instructions on how to do all this is in the link below with that M Carbo video. Now, there is one slight problem, one huge little thing they don't tell you about. There's a little set screw on the bottom side of this trigger. Going through that video, taking this trigger assembly apart, putting it back together, took me about 45 minutes, and that's playing the video, stopping it, doing whatever the guy's doing, playing it, doing the next step, so on and so forth, and then playing it back on reassembly. I started this one night. It was probably about 10 o'clock. By 12:30 I said, fuck that, I'm going to bed. I can't figure it out, because I get it together and the trigger wouldn't work. Once together, I'd follow instructions like, man, I think I nailed it. I don't understand what the problem is. You rack the slide, it wouldn't drop the firing pin. So I started the project the next day over. So on the 5th time of disassembling and reassembling that fire control unit, the FCU, I figured out what it was. There's a little set screw.
Should have a little bag that came with it, and a little tiny set screw.
So they want 2 threads out when you put that in.
Max adjustment for over travel is with 2 threads showing. See picture. Love pictures.
So I did. It may have been 2.5, it may have been 3. It's so tiny you can't tell.
For a longer reset length, reduce the amount of threads. Don't want to do that. But stick to the 2, because I'm always trying to push it too, and it's not worth the hassle. I mean, you'd have to go back in, and it's a fire control unit, it's not too terrible. All right, there it is. All right, that's 2 threads right there.
And what the problem was that screw is out too far, and the trigger wasn't going back far enough to drop the sear and make it go bang. So on the 5th try of taking this thing apart, I know how that FCU works pretty damn well now. I figured it out, and thus far, no problem. I did not change out the springs. There's another company, I think it's Tactical Triggers, that has a trigger similar to this. It's supposed to be less take up than this, maybe. I don't know. It's a little bit more expensive. The Sig Guy, he did a video on the disassembly and reassembly. Now, there's some better pointers than that than the M Carbo video. I'm going to put that link in the description below. For 80 bucks, I'm pretty damn pleased with it. I didn't want a lighter trigger pull, because this is my EDC. What I wanted is just less take up. And man, before, that factory trigger had a long stroke to it. Did I say long stroke?
Butthead, I think it's probably ready now.
Wasn't bad, but man, this is so much shorter now for take up purposes, and you have more room to stick your finger in there and get on the trigger, which is nice, because that factory one had such an angle, your finger would be hitting it like that. You'd have to take up a bunch of slop before engaging the trigger. So what we're gonna do, we'll shoot a few more here. In one of my other videos, I went through and polished up some of the insides of this, and it did take some poundage, some weight off the trigger. made it a lot smoother. With this flat trigger from M Carbo, it is it's a lot better to shoot for 80 bucks. M Carbo. Is this the best upgrade you can get for a 365? Maybe. I'm pretty damn pleased with it.
Warp speed, Mr. Sulu.
But if you go in that M Carbo video and check it out, you can really see the thought process and technology and everything that went into this trigger and reducing the angles. I was gonna get an Icarus Precision grip module, and that may be the best upgrade you can get for a 365. I don't know. 400 bucks. I thought, man, I could get a whole new pistol for that. So that's what I did. But in terms of kind of a more budget-friendly upgrade, I think this is the ticket, man. I love this little pistol. Anyway, wanted to bring you along and give you my thoughts on this M Carbo flat trigger.
Blah, 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 blah.
Also, there's one pin in this fire control unit that you have to lift up a spring as you insert it, and you have to make sure that pin goes through on your safety lever. That's a pain. One tool they don't tell you that you use is a pair of just regular pliers. You can take that pin and turn it a lot easier. The tips of my fingers after doing it so many times were just raw and sore. I could hardly turn it. So just a pair of pliers made it a whole lot easier to spin that pin, which is key because if you drop it too far, your safety lever comes out. You have to take the whole damn thing apart again. I did that twice on this. Getting it under that spring is not too bad. It's just keeping everything together as you put other pieces of the puzzle in play. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a Merry Christmas, y'all. Be safe. See ya in 2023. It's crazy to think, but it's right around the corner. See ya. Thanks for tuning in.